Didn't you tell me that you would be done by 7 o'clock?
I was not close to that, but more like 8.
8, yeah. And then I came over and did that thing where I put my stuff down. I say, "All right, let's get started at this time," and then tell the entire audience, "Hey, look, we're gonna start 8:40 or something like that." And I look at the clock, and it's like 8:46. Oh, we got one viewer. Okay, we're off to a good start. We got a viewer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's Snavely. Hey, Snavely. But, Ross, I'm just glad that it's that time again as I fix my audio for everything before it ruins this whole entire stream. Excellent, excellent, good. Cool, let's go. Alright, we got 8. Perfect. Ross, welcome everybody. It's Blunt Talk, it's Joey Blaze, it's Ross Collins.
Hi.
Welcome to tonight's episode. Ross, how was your Saturday? Not your Sunday. I don't want to hear about your Sunday yet.
Right.
Let me ask about your Saturday.
Saturday was good.
Good? Like, just good?
Yeah, we had our first T-ball game of the season.
First T-ball game of the season? For real?
Yeah, everybody hit really well. It was good.
Did you win?
The only way you win is if you have more players, I guess. Everybody
Did
hits,
you?
Everybody runs the bases, man.
Let me guess. You were outnumbered and outgunned?
We were outnumbered, maybe. Not outgunned.
So you won?
Sure.
Hey! Good job, Ross.
Our kids said we were like 10-2 or something like that, so.
You gotta relax there, buddy. Your dog always gets upset for some reason.
Yeah.
But anyways, good job. It's awesome, Ross. Congratulations on the win. One of a few wins this weekend, I believe you had. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. But first, we're going to start with my Saturday, which was up in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. It was the Keystone Flag Football League. My third weekend up there. Another great time period. Great, great time. I love going up there to Shippensburg. The drive's a little but on the way back, I take the back roads, and seeing the scenery in western PA and going back into our state is really nice. And so, great time as always. Love that field, love the facilities, love the people up there. Great league. The results this weekend, phenomenal. Let me tell you about what I've referred to as the game of the week, that nobody expects to be the game of the week. And that is the Gators and Browns. There was a scenario going into this game where the Browns, with a win and a Gators loss to the X-Dogs and an Immortals loss, could sneak up towards second place in the standings. Big, big moment there as the vibrations were kicking in. All right, Ross. Chill. Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you, guys. Perfect. It's all coming in at once. But anyways, Gators, Browns, that game was phenomenal. Looking over it, the Gators went up 6-0 early, scoring in their opening drive, but the Browns took over in the second and third quarter, leading 12-6, entering the fourth. The Gators had a chance to score in the fourth, but the Browns managed to stop them. However, the Browns failed to move the ball, and the Gators scored with under 5 seconds left in the game to tie it at 12 apiece. The Gators had a second chance. The Browns, I don't want to say they blew this game, because this game could have gone both ways. It really could have. The Gators had 2 dropped touchdowns in that fourth quarter. That game was so back and forth where the smallest thing could have changed the results so easily.
It was a good game.
It was a classic. I want to say one of the greatest games that I had the pleasure live streaming and watching in my flag football life. Thank you to both of those teams for putting on a classic. And that's not at all. There was more to this game than that fourth quarter. In overtime, the Browns failed to score. So the Gators tried kicking a 41-yard field goal, but it was just short and returned 109 yards for a touchdown, only to be called back for flag guard. That pesky penalty that kills every single great big moment in every player's career. Flag guard, the play that breaks any momentum you had. And for the Browns, this killed their momentum completely. They had just won the game in their minds. They were celebrating. I was celebrating. I was stunned. Because at first, when he kicked the field goal, I thought he was going to make it. because he had such great height on it. And the first 2 attempts the Gators had on the extra points were just awful. They couldn't get it off. The Browns blocked it both times. And so going into that drive, I was just sitting there like, there's no way he's going to get this off. They could try, but it's whatever. And they kicked it, and I was just like, oh my God. He actually went for the kick. Holy crap, he went for the kick. I didn't believe it. And I thought he made it at first because I have bad depth perception. My glasses are a 3-year-old prescription. I got to get that fixed.
Right.
And so I sat there thinking, Gators have won! The Gators! No! Return! And ran right by. And as he's running down the sideline, I'm jumping myself. I'm excited. I'm like, he's got it! But then I saw the flag. And I look over and the referee, I can't remember which one it was, whether it was Don or Tom. But I saw him signal flag guard. And I was like, devastating. And the Browns just didn't recover, and it affected them deeply. And you know what? I get it. That is a hard moment to recover from. You won the game. You won the game. The moment happened. You just witnessed it. You had your Alabama-Auburn moment right there.
On a huge play.
In overtime.
In overtime.
With the opportunity to jump to second place that day. In the best season of your team's young life. I get it. They were frustrated. And they had every right to be. Because from their perspective, they had gotten robbed. I'm not going to say one way or the other. My judgment, because I'm not a referee myself. I don't have that perspective. But the way I've seen it called, I feel like it may not have been called in certain places, certain leagues, certain on the circuit, for example. I saw how physical Ocean City was. I feel like down there that would not have got called. But I feel like up here it would be, which I get. That's just a style of play. It happens. But then again, there was, questionable officiating according to a lot of people in OC. But, that's another thing. But the Browns Gators, classic. In OT, the Gators did score first. I got another stop on the Browns, and that was just it. And 18-12 was the final, double overtime. Excellent job by the Gators sticking in this game and managing to come back. But excellent job by the Browns as well. They surprised a lot of people going into this one. They went in there and they gave it the ship flip. They look like a team that was ready to take this league by storm. And I still think they are. They have something to them. They got a nice core. This is a team that has improved significantly. I have a lot of respect for this Browns team and the job that's been done this season to turn them around. Don't let this game get to you. Don't let it bother you after this. Next game. Because if it sticks in your mind, it's going to come back and bite you forever. Move on. That's my biggest advice with that stuff. But otherwise, I'd understand. That hurts. I've seen it before. I've seen it in my teams. I've seen a pick. We've had a pick 6 that was called back because of a whistle that was blown prematurely. I've seen that.
I've seen it.
How many times have you seen that?
I've seen it plenty of times.
I've seen a flag pull and then the ball was called way up the field more than what it was. It's one of those things with officiating. It happens. It's a perspective. But it's next game. But you know what? Congrats to Chip Flip. Congrats to the Browns for putting on a performance of a lifetime. Like, I recommend anybody to go back and rewatch it. I meant to share it. I really meant to share it, but I forgot. Go back and rewatch it on my page, Joey Blaze. I'll share it after the stream. Gators Browns, instant classic. Yeah, it's one of those. It's autofocusing. That's what I'm saying. I have to adjust my glasses. But yeah, 18-12, great game. X-Dogs Gators, one-sided from start to finish. This was 35-0. There's not much worth talking about here. X-Dogs were dominant. Gators were done after that first game. They were done. That double overtime really got them. That's a lot of flag football to play, especially when you're not used to it. And so I completely get that. And yeah, the Browns do lock in the 4th seed, Corey. But this next game, let me tell you, it finally happened. Remember when Broad X went down in our league for the first time? It was just a silent moment when TMT beat them after the 40-game win streak. I felt that same atmosphere and vibe when I witnessed Immortals defeat X-Dogs on Saturday. A big, big win for a team that only dressed 13. We had Sean Motes on last week to talk about it, and he seemed like certain they were going to win. I wasn't so certain, and they went out there and did it. Congratulations to the Immortals. First loss by the X-Dogs in Keystone. 2 records set. Record high, 14 points surrendered. Record low rather, 7 points scored. The first time the X-Dogs have been held to single digits in the Keystone Flag Football League. The Immortals were dominant behind that ferocious pass rush led by Chili and Motes. Offensively, Tay Sosa, he managed a great game out there. He did an excellent job. The Immortals played like they had 31 guys. Not 13, but 31. Excellent performance. I'm really proud of this squad. Congratulations, fellas. Was really glad to be there. I recommend that game too. It's in 2 parts, I think, because they got like a camera issue midway through. Immortals X-Dogs, instant classic. Loved it from start to finish. Congratulations to the Immortals. We're gonna have more on that in a few moments. Let me get to the power rankings. This last game, Killer Bees 23, Spartans nothing. I left by this point, but great game from what I hear. 23-0. Shout out to the Spartans. They say they watch my show. I love these guys. Hey, that's awesome. Spartans are a fan of Blunt Talk. You want to take them on to the Warriors, Ross?
No.
No. You got plenty? Okay, we'll talk about those guys later.
Yeah.
But first, let's get to the Keystone Power Rankings. Coming in at number 6 is the Spartans. 0-8 on the season. Sorry, fellas.
Yeah.
8 guys, 8 losses. It happens.
Been there, done that.
Same. Same. We've seen worse days too.
Yeah.
We totally empathize with that. Number 5, Killer Bees, 2-6. Congratulations on the victory, guys. But you're so far. Sorry, but you're 3-5. My bad, 3-5. I forgot they had the win over the Immortals last week. Actually, I don't think I updated this. No, did I update this? Yeah, I did. Okay, I wasn't certain. All right. So the Bees 3-6 or 3-5 rather. Good job on the win against the Spartans, but got to show us a little more than that. You guys did beat the Immortals. We'll give you that, but we'll see. We'll see how this Beast team comes out. They got enough depth, I feel like, in this playoffs to make some kind of run at the very least. I feel the same way, Corey. I really do. Number 4, the Browns, 4-5 on the season. Guys, you guys deserve to be ranked higher than that. You really do. You guys deserve that victory, but so did the Gators. It's one of those games where neither team should have lost.
Right.
Both teams played their asses off. It takes a lot to stay in the game, especially when the Gators were just not moving the ball at all. And then the opportunities they did have, they just couldn't capitalize on. And then they finally pulled it together in the 4th quarter. But the Browns, in their case, because I'm going to talk about these guys equally right here, because they might as well be number 3. I'm going to consider them both tied for 3 in my eyes. Forget the 4 ranking. They're both tied for 3. Between these 2 squads, they're equal. Playoff time, if this becomes a matchup, it'll be very interesting. I'm not so certain it'll be the same result, but we will see.
That'd be crazy.
They're both, to me, tied. They're on the same level. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they both have once we talk playoffs next week. Coming in at number 2, shocker to everybody, the X-Dogs is 2nd place in the power rankings. Let me emphasize this point. They're going to say record. I'm going to say power, emphasis. The Immortals have taken over their spot at number 1 for a reason. They beat them. They shut them down. They slapped them around. They set records on them. They set 2 records on them. Sean Motes intercepted Matt Eisenberg.
Yeah.
It went down. The upset went down. The Dogs were put down by the Immortals, who are going to be number 1 in my power rankings. And this is actually going to be the final regular season rankings. You guys have your postseason rankings, which mean a lot more than what mine do. So this is the final one for the regular season. Congratulations, the Immortals are going to finish number 1 to end the regular season in the power rankings. We'll have a postseason one at the end of the once we finish your all's playoff, which is May 18th, I believe, which I cannot guarantee at this time I will be there. I am set to graduate that morning in UMD. We'll see if anything changes on that front. Get back to me on that, and I'll let you know myself. Love to be there for a championship. Had a great time this year in Shippensburg. Would love to come back for more. Speaking of more, let's get to the Keystone schedule for this week. The final week of the regular season. Spartans Dogs, 9 a.m. Fourth meeting between both squads. The Dogs lead the series 3-0. Yeah. Hopefully the Spartans can get their first win and force the Dogs' second loss. Every dog has his day.
I don't think so.
You never know. Browns, number 3 in the power rankings, taking on number 1 Immortals, 10 a.m. This is an interesting game, actually. I feel like if both teams play their full potential, this could be a really good game. But if I'm either squad, there's no cards to really play. Don't play any cards this week. Don't worry about it, because you're both locked in your seats. There's no changing. At this point, you don't want to show too much because you're trying to go out there and win when it matters. Not this week when it's practice. That's how I view this week. This might as well be a practice week for everybody. Because the way I'm looking at it, I don't think any of the seats can actually change here. And then I'm going to apply this to the Bees Gators game too, 11 a.m. Those guys, however, actually, they're not going to listen to me. Those guys are hyped. I've seen the page. They're hyped about the Bees Gators game on Saturday. This is a rivalry game. This is Ohio State Michigan of that league. This is Alabama Auburn of that league. This is a big time rivalry of epic proportion to these guys. Killer Bees are stoked about this game. And I'm really stoked to see how they come out against this Gators team. Same for the Gators. I want to see the Gators come out the same way. But I know these two squads, they do go back and forth against each other over that page. It'll be really interesting how it plays out when they play each other at 11 a.m. Remember, let me give you let me give you some kind of summary of this. The Bees defeated the Gators in the fall championship last year.
Right.
The Gators defeated the Bees earlier this season. That was the day I was in Brunswick, or rather Hyattsville,
Right.
when the Gators came back from a 12-0 deficit to beat the Bees. 13-12, the comeback.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I was watching that on 270 on the way to the game. Well, listening to it, rather. But that's going to be a really interesting game. I feel like those two are going to go at it. Just go ahead and have fun this week. Practice. But practice is the biggest emphasis. That's what matters this week. Get your workout in. Get ready for next week. Because your week after is going to be sick. Moving on now. Let's do predictions on these games. I'm going to go for the first game, X-Dogs over Spartans. Ross, what do you think?
I'm going to have to go with the X-Dogs. For obvious reasons.
You're not going to cheer for your brothers in blue and white?
No, not for this one.
Okay.
Sorry.
I understand. It's all right, Ross.
I'm cheering for Spartans.
Maddox, you're cheering for the Spartans? Hey, Maddox is a fan of the Spartans, guys.
I mean, if they need a night.
If they need another player, Maddox Collins is available. He's already a flag football player, right? Didn't he play last fall? Already trained, already coached.
Trying to get him to be a linebacker, man.
Be a linebacker? Hey, there you go, buddy. That's good. That's good. That's awesome, though.
No, I'll be the quarterback.
You want to be a quarterback? Everybody wants to be a quarterback. You'll learn immediately you don't want to be quarterback when you get back there. As soon as that ball snaps, you're going to want to get back to linebacker. You're going to be the hunter, not the hunted in that situation. So yeah, we're going to go X-Dogs. Maddox's going to go Spartans. I get that. Let's move on to the next game. Browns Immortals. Who do you got?
Immortals.
Immortals?
Of course. How many people are they going to have?
It's going to depend on that. You're right. I don't know if there's any other events going on this weekend or not. Mother's Day weekend is a tricky holiday weekend for flag football. And we're going to experience that too this weekend. Trust me. So it all depends on who's going to be stuck with what and duties and everything else. So I feel like this is going to depend on which team takes it more seriously.
Still got to go with my Immortals, though, man.
You got to go with the Immortals because of Moats.
Me too.
I'm going to go with the Browns because
I'm
Browns
going
and
to go
Ruby.
with
I feel like they can win this game. I feel like they have a shot in this game at the very least.
I'm going with Brown.
Browns. All right, we're both going to go with Browns. Me and Mattis are going with the Browns. Ross is going with the Immortals.
Might be a close game though.
Might be a close game. We still got to play to lock the first round bye. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's me messing up the bracket, isn't it, Regan? Yeah. So that's how that works. So the Immortals still got to play for some. Okay. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to still go with Browns. Let's go with Browns.
Me too.
I'm going to give love to the Browns.
Immortals.
Immortals. All right, we'll see. Football any given Saturday.
I'm Browns.
Browns. Yeah. All right. We're on to the final game. Bees and Gators.
I'm bees.
You going the Bees, Maddox? All right, Maddox is picking the Killer Bees. Hey, all right. Ross, who you got? Browns won't have about 10 guys. Woo.
Oh boy.
So, all right. So the Browns only have 10 guys, Maddox. Do we still pick them? Maddox? No, Immortals. All right. Maddox is picking Immortals.
Some show.
I still love the Browns.
Nope. Browns.
Browns? Okay, he changed his mind again. All
The
right.
note says you're on his
It's
spook list.
So who'd you go with, Ross, for Beast Gators?
Gators.
Gators? You're picking
Why
against
not?
you're picking against your Buds team?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I don't know. Just because he went with the Beast.
He went with Beast, so you're going to get your son?
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that. So, all right. So I'm going to go with Gators.
Me too.
I just feel like
I'm gonna go with Gators.
while Bees are motivated, I feel like the Gators are a more well-rounded team, and they are still playing for that spot too.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting. This could actually add to the rivalry depending on who wins this game. It really could. It's hard to say who's going to come out with what this weekend. Mother's Day weekend is so tricky that it makes games up and down.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with that, and we're going to transition now to the Washington County Flag Football League.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go back to the results from last week. Starting with the second big upset of this weekend, because we had one already. We almost had two on Saturday alone. We did, however, have two in county on this Sunday. Starting with the first game, Ruckus defeated Broadaxe 20-12. Ross,
Yeah.
can you believe it? Ruckus finally did it.
That's crazy.
Ruckus has finally beaten Broadaxe for the first time in 16 games. They had never done it before. And that was in 5 years of playing in 10 seasons. They had been owned by Broadaxe all this time. Absolutely stunned. I couldn't believe it.
It is crazy.
And honestly and truthfully, I feel like going into this one that Broadaxe was going to take it. But Steven Renner came out there and balled. Can we give a shout out to Steven Renner for his performance this week? He just did not care. He had ruthless aggression out there. He dropped back. He threw it every time. He challenged Broadaxe deep.
Just making good passes.
Yeah, he executed. Dehaney, B-Mike in the receiving core. Ruckus, first ever win. Renner, 3 touchdowns. I don't know if any of those guys on that team had ever beaten Broadaxe. I'm trying to think about it. I think Ron Savage did not do it. He wasn't on Misfits. Yeah, maybe he did. I think he did last fall. But other than that, I don't think hardly any of them did. So congratulations to Ruckus. A lot of those guys have been in county since at least 2014, 2015. And it's been a long struggle. But to finally beat that old giant who we used to all want to beat back in the day, that's got to feel good.
Right.
Especially going into this weekend. Ruckus feels like they got something going. Is Steven Renner the guy? Do you think he's the guy?
You gotta go with him right now. You gotta go with the hot hand.
I feel like he is.
He's doing pretty good.
I feel like he is. I feel like Steven Renner is finally the guy. And you can see it on the field how much he has improved over the last few years. And I give props to the defense too. No hate. That defense played excellent ball against Kevin Clancy. That defense was fantastic. And I was sitting there wondering if they were going to hold Broadaxe to just one score, because I think Broadaxe scored on their opening drive and that was it.
Right.
Ruckus just absolutely shut them down the rest of the way. They held on in the end. They played excellent defense. The offense balled out. They just did not care. They went and won the game. They played to win, and they got everything they deserved.
Ryder started just throwing, man, like you said.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at this team overall, I think they might have gotten their groove back. I got a kind of a vibe off of that team. Reminded me a little bit of that spring team they had a few years ago.
We shall see.
The one with Scotty. We'll see, though. If Renner can be that kind of gunslinger every week, he can bring a lot to the table. We'll find out. Moving on to the next game. Program defeated the Railroaders 23-0. Oof. This was a bad game. This was a very bad game. The Railroaders were railroaded in this one, to say the least. They just did not stand a chance. They were derailed. They just crashed. And I felt like I was watching the Brunswick Assassins again. It's every day. It just they went back and regressed. Where was the team I saw in week 1? We'll see when I ask Brian Swagger later on.
Right.
But program, congratulations on that victory. They looked sharp defensively. That defense had a pick 6. They had a safety.
Yeah.
Adam balled out. They looked excellent in that game. And I sat there and said, man, program is the second best team in this league. I think I'm not so sure if Ruckus can beat them. I'm not so sure if Red Knights can beat them. I don't know if
Said it rough, did you?
who the Warriors. The Warriors beat the program.
Yes, sir.
That's
Finally
a good
happened,
one, man. Really, it's a good one, man. You guys beat you guys beat a team that outscored you 144-6
That's awesome.
in all your games since 2016.
That's awesome.
A
They've
te-
always had our number, dude.
A team who, if I remember correctly, Ross, in that 2016 game, your first touchdown was the first play of the game, and then you never scored against them ever again. Is that how that goes?
Probably.
And it's insane because you guys have these physical, insane games every time, but it's a blowout in the end because for some reason or another you can't seem to
Yeah.
hold on against them. You can't put an offense against them. And then the offense played almost flawless. They didn't make the big mistakes. They didn't have the bad mistakes. You guys left points off the board, if anything. You guys could have scored more.
Yeah.
Final score of that game, 8-0 Warriors.
Safety.
The safety, yeah, let's talk about that safety.
Ryan Lewis.
Ryan Lewis. Louis came in on the sack. He got at him, and it made it 2-0. And that was after they stopped you guys at the 1 yard line, if I recall
Yeah,
correctly.
they got an interception.
They picked you guys off, yeah. And I think didn't they pick you off in the end zone?
No, it's something like the 1 yard line.
Okay, on the one. I wasn't certain.
Yeah.
Might have been another game I was thinking of where they picked off at the end zone, and they were like, why does he always run it back out? Somebody said something. It was over the weekend. I can't remember what, though. But that game was awesome to watch. You guys didn't have your normal roster. That wasn't the same Warriors I've seen the last 4 or 5 years. Those guys didn't go to
Pretty
Boonesboro.
close to roster up and expected.
I didn't know Foster went to Boonesboro.
That's why I've always said we're not the Boonesboro Warriors. We're just the Warriors.
I know, but they're not from. This is man. Seeing the name associated is just really weird,
There's only
man.
7 teams in the league, and all the teams that we used to have and stuff, man. There's people out there.
There's a lot of people out there. You're playing. That's smart game, man. That's smart game stuff. You got to go out there and recruit.
Yeah.
If guys aren't playing, bring them in. You know, they're available if they're not in this league. Just because, like, oh, he plays for X Dogs, what's it matter? Or let's say, oh, this guy plays for AFN, or this guy plays for Bullets,
Yeah.
or this guy plays with Ship Flip Gators, or this guy plays with the Survivors. How many often do we see Survivors players come out of the woodwork every other week?
Yeah.
Robert Ridenauer came out of the woodwork this week.
Yeah. He told me he wasn't playing this season.
He wasn't?
Playing for Ruckus, right?
Ruckus now? I guess he's a railroader.
Yeah, he's a railroader.
Yeah. Buckley, my goodness, Survivors come out to work every week. I mean, if guys are out there, they're out there. Don't be afraid to ask. I know it's hard to talk, but Reach out to them and say,
There's a whole KFFL now.
yeah, you got leagues everywhere. You got guys who want to play ball, but reach out to them and be like, hey, dude, come play for my team. It really helps. Ask ADR. It's smart. Ask AFN. It's smart.
Yeah.
Make friends. Play with them. Say, hey, come play for my team. Have fun. Boom. That's how you be successful in flag football. And you guys, it showed how different it was with the players you brought in. And you're giving me the look like you don't want me to keep talking about who's coming from where and whatnot. So I'll stop talking about it.
Nah, I don't care.
Okay. But like but you guys, excellent job defensively. You guys completely shut down Adam. Spence had his number, especially on the pick at the very end of the game to solidify the deal. And Cody Snavely, well managed game. Like I said, points were left on the board.
Donnie Weber with the interception.
Donnie Weber, another survivor. Hey,
Weber.
Sean Moats, another up.
Right.
Can we talk about how Moats had another upset this weekend? He beat the number 1 team in Keystone and the number 2 team in the WCFFL. Zach Ruby in his debut did the same thing.
Yeah.
Managed to achieve it. You guys the Immortal Warriors now? I'm wondering about you, Ross.
Starting to change it all.
Starting to wonder about you. Okay, I got my eye on you.
Sounds,
Master recruiter out there.
like you said.
But anyways, 8-0. Great game by the Warriors. You guys went 26 quarters without scoring on them on offense.
We shut them out.
And you shut them.
44 points. We shut them
You
out.
gave them a donut finally.
You know?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then ADR showed up, and can we talk about how they dressed 11 to both of these games and
First thing I will
annihilated
say
both
is-
of their opponents?
We didn't get a donut.
You didn't. Kyle Marshall bailed you out. Kyle Marshall with a redemption kick. He bailed you out. All's good now. All's forgiven. Congratulations. He scored on ADR.
Thank
You guys did it. That's an achievement. Score on ADR.
Excuse me, so they lost.
They
you.
got hammered,
Yeah, I mean,
kid.
other than
Your
that,
dad's team got destroyed.
Yeah, we did.
But anywho,
We don't even talk about
I should have just stood back on the sideline and ran the game.
yeah, you were better as a coach than you were as a player.
In my defense, that dude is big.
They're all big and they're all fast.
Yeah.
And there's 11 of them, but it
Had
looks like there's
11,
100
12
of them.
guys, and they brought the right 11 to 12 guys.
They did. And you guys in the Red Knights, oof. The rain made it difficult to throw, I agree, but at the same time, just
You know,
34-6 in that one, 40-6 in the other one, I believe was the final. I'm looking at it. No, 44-0. And I believe that was Mouse at quarterback for ADR in that game and not Boone. Boone was playing linebacker or safety, I believe.
who? Good?
Yeah, I believe so. And he was in the Knights game, but you probably bailed by that point. But that game was just,
Yeah, he had an interception against us, too.
that rain got bad, and I bailed on that. That was,
I should have bodied him up, man, but I went for a desperation dive and missed. I need to start working on pulling flags again.
Dad, you have to put on flag. Put on flag.
I am going to start putting on flags.
better for something
So I
like
can get
flags.
interceptions and stuff, too. I'm starting to get jealous of most.
You're starting to get jealous of Moats?
Yeah.
Why would you be
interceptions, man? I wanna,
All those interceptions, all those wins he has on his way to a championship, and do you have an opportunity still this week, Ross, to jump on that Immortals team? I mean, I think it's open application. Just go on in, walk in, say, "Hey, black shirt on, let's go." You got a T-ball game? Oh, that's sad. That's sad. No, I completely understand it. But
and it's Mother's Day weekend. And if we end up playing Sunday, that's 2 games.
yeah, that Sunday weather is not looking very friendly. Can we talk about that Sunday weather?
It didn't really rain at all. It was
Well-
muggy, and then it got really sunny and a nice day.
Well, Sunday's supposed to be 57, rainy with a chance of thunderstorms.
Right.
And we got to be able to feel it like, 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
So it's like, this is going to be a challenge, I feel like. It's going to be a very interesting Bassford Heritage Bowl this weekend.
Last game starts to move.
We're off by 4. No, the last game starts at 1. Yeah, you're right. I'm stupid. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. That weather is going to be interesting. Before we get to the power rankings, I'm gonna announce the schedule for this week. We had a quick change in the schedule. The Red Knights game against the Warriors was moved to June 2nd. And so instead, we have a Warriors, Ruckus, Railroaders triple threat here all of a sudden. A little tournament, so to speak. Something that I call the Bassford. What the Bassford Heritage Bowl is. Last year, we did a special exhibition game between 3 teams from areas that I spent my time growing up in, named after my real name. For those of you who don't know my real name. Because I made a lot of new friends in the last couple of months. So they don't know me by Blaze. They don't know me by the other name, obviously. But looking back at it, it was it was Survivors, Assassins, and Warriors. Survivors from Inwood, a team I found back in 2014. Warriors for guys I went to high school with and played football with back in the day. Ross ran the team. And I grew up right outside Brunswick for 20 years. Brunswick was practically a hometown for me because I spent a lot of time down there, grew up around there. Went to Boonesboro, but I lived in too close to Brunswick to not really be in Boonesboro very often.
I understand.
Yeah.
My first job was in Brunswick, man.
South County kids, we were down there for the most part.
Karaoke was always fun.
But nonetheless, like all 3 held a special place in my heart, and then I decided, why not go out there and on Ocean City weekend do a tournament where the winner would get a trophy in my name, and it was even played at South Hagerstown High, where Hagerstown was where that side of my family was from, and where my relatives went to school at in South High. So it kind of worked out in the end. And so it was an excellent series. The Warriors dominated that series, Ross. You guys, 27-7 over Survivors, 21-14 over Railroaders, or rather Assassins. Absolutely dominant performance. 15 combined sacks in those 2 games. You guys just had your way with both teams. That defensive line was dominant. Part of that spring team that you guys had. That this team could resemble by the end of this weekend, depending how this all plays out. You did score 2 wins that day. You can get 2 more this one. It's hard to tell where I can lead you to, especially as we move along in this season.
We'll play some D-line this weekend.
You're going to play some D-line this weekend? So that's going to be the games. We'll announce the times in a few moments. But first, I have on here who I want to do a quick interview with, who had a very, very long weekend, I imagine. If he ever gets in sync with me on this one. But the games will be 10 a.m. this week, Railroaders and Ruckus. That's the first game. The second game is going to be Warriors and Ruckus. That's 11:30 a.m. And the final game will be a 1 p.m. kickoff between Warriors and Railroaders. Hey, Sean.
Hey. What's
How
up?
you doing, bud?
Oh, hanging in there. Yourself?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. How was the weekend? Did you survive? Seems like you're good.
Felt good to get the wins, but I'm still a little beat up, man. It's tough games.
You got 2 more physical matchups coming up this weekend. Ruckus and the Railroaders. You know how that Brunswick guys like to play against against your defensive line. They're going to be physical up front.
That's news to me.
Hey, I mean that's just what I've heard, man. They're very physical up front. They're really good.
I had to throw some shade at Swagger. It's all right.
All good, Sean. But it's going to be an interesting matchup between you guys. I feel like this is going to be a fun trifecta. What do you think, Sean, going into this one?
Oh, definitely, man. I don't know why, but I would much rather play doubleheader games. Like, kind of when you get in a groove, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I feel like it just comes easier. Like, I've always thought I've done pretty well doubleheaders. I don't know about anybody else, but love it.
Yeah. And I feel like you guys playing back-to-back does give you an advantage, whereas it gives the Railroaders somewhat of a disadvantage, one could argue. It does allow
Yeah.
them to scout. They're a little older, so maybe they'll be able to relax a little bit in between games. That might be some kind of advantage.
Like you were saying earlier, I think Ross said it. You just gotta. A lot of people are going to be shorthanded this weekend, but
Mm-hmm.
you just got to have the right 9 on the field. I mean, that's really all you need. So,
The elements, though, are going to be the biggest question, whether or not the rain factors in. It's going to be again this week, but from what I'm seeing, it's going to be heavier than what it was on last Sunday, and we're also facing the possibility of thunder, which you could talk to the potential of delays, which adds on to the elements of attrition because we're all standing around at that point, and it's going to be, like you said, it is going to be a matter of who's got the best 9 because this could be a long day, depending on how the weather shakes out and depending on how these games go, because you know it's going to be chippy and you know it's going to be physical. It's going to be a fight from start to finish by all 3 games. Brunswick will be down by
yeah.
3 scores, and they're still going to come at you. You know that. Ruckus is going to fight through all 4 quarters.
I think the weather, man, like it's all 3 teams. I feel like I don't want to say would benefit from the weather, but everybody's physical and everybody wants to dominate. The point of attack. Like you said, Brunswick, they don't quit. I love that about that team, man. Like we had some chippy games with them, since they've been in the league, but there's a newfound respect, since that alumni game. I keep going back to that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's they don't quit. They're all heart, and I love that. Like, even if they're only, dressing 11, 12 guys, they're still bringing it, and they still want to win. So, Ruckus, their O-line, again, Coot, McGee, and old Danny, like, they're a tough bunch. They definitely give Renner some time to make some plays. So I think if it's a heavy downpour, I think Ruckus could be a big problem because if Renner gets time to run, he's deceivingly quick. I've been saying this for a while and nobody wanted to believe me, but the dude can make plays with his arm and his feet. So I'm like probably one of the most underrated players in the league. I said this like 2 weeks ago and it shows. He went out and what do you have, 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, and they're all 3
Yeah, I mean
passing. That's the biggest thing. It wasn't him just running, taking off, and going. He was able to throw the ball and throw the ball deep. He did not play like a conservative passer. He played like he was Brett Favre out there.
and he's got, pretty sure every single one of his true receivers are over 6 feet tall. So give him a chance to go up and high point that thing.
Hey, he's even got little B Mike underneath too.
Yeah, he's
B Mike had that score on there. He had the other long touchdown pass. I think in the 4th quarter.
yeah. I mean, they've got some weapons, man. B. Mike, Damian, and Will Bray. Like Will Bray's another one, real quiet dude. That if he gets space, he's going to be tough to catch, man. You can't miss that first flagpole because if you do, he's gone.
You can't forget Derek Dehaney either.
That goes without saying, man. That dude's a beast.
The mismatch he creates in the 1-on-1. Just absolutely dominant. And Ruckus has all the potential and tools to be one of the better teams in this league. And I'm just saying, Ruckus is a good team. I'm not making my prediction yet. We haven't even got to the power rankings yet. I'm just still previewing this little matchup before I get to the rankings. In fact, let's get to the rankings. Let's discuss them. Coming in at number 7, back to their home forever. The Railroaders, 0-3.
Yes, we made it out.
They were, for the longest time, I had them above you guys for about a month. I changed my mind. You guys swayed me. The Railroaders lost me after last week. You guys have a shot of redemption this week, but true, we are in trouble with that matchup. That roughing the kicker helped a lot. Yeah. This offense does not inspire any confidence whatsoever. I don't know if it was a program matchup or whether it is trying to change strategy or what. It's just not much hope. I saw Roy. I saw Daniel. I saw Timmy. I may have seen Buck Lou at one point at quarterback. RJ tried to take him in, but I think he went back to the bench. All love RJ. Um, but at the same time, it just didn't work out, and the program capitalized on it, and Brunswick once again just not there. Sean, your thoughts?
Anytime you got a roulette going on at quarterback, that sucks. Like we had it happen to us in the fall. Um, with people not being sure, who's going to make it week to week. People have lives, man. People got to work. People have families. It's going to happen. So anytime you got to just keep rotating through guys, that sucks. Like not having consistency at the quarterback position kills any team in this league.
I feel
So
like
I feel for them, but
yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. That's why it's important to have a system in place. Like, ADR, I'm pretty confident in saying that if Boone wasn't there, they'd still have that same offense. Like they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be all right if he had to miss a game. So
I mean, from what I was seeing over the weekend, I think Mouse is running pretty well from what I was seeing
yep.
in that Red Knights game. That was so one-sided. Speaking of that Knights game, Andy's team back to number 6, 1-3 on the season. That's an unfair matchup, though. ADR at this point is just insanely good at what they do. They're like a well-oiled machine. They really are. But the Knights have played really well this season. They just ran into a buzzsaw of ADR. It was not a matchup that was ideal for them. And,
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Just absolutely torched, absolutely gassed in that game. She had a nice recovery. They got a few weeks off to get over that one. We'll see what happens then. Looking over at number 5 now is Warriors. Number you guys are top
my.
5 again. Congratulations. It doesn't mean what it used to mean, but top 5 isn't bad.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm proud of you guys. You got back.
We still got a lot of work to go, man. It's
Oh yeah.
last week was the first time I think we had everybody that has been saying, I'll be there, and then we finally got them. So hopefully it keeps up. We had that was the defense that I've been waiting to put on the field, since preseason. So felt pretty good.
And that was an excellent performance you guys put on. My goodness gracious. You guys just had their number from start to
We
finish.
should have just done
That shutout felt pretty damn good, man.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to go back to the ADR thing. I'm not going to hold against you like I hold it against with the Knights. So I won't punish you both for that because it's just an unfair matchup at this point. They're A bracket at this stage. They're too good. We'll get to that later.
At the same point, I mean, go ahead. We'll talk about that later.
No, yeah, we'll get to that later. I'm going to do it because I'm going to. But yeah, no, your Z line is excellent. That's Brock's pointing it out in the comments right now. That pass rush has all the potential it can to be the best in this league. And when you have an offense that doesn't make mistakes going with it, and you have guys who can play in the secondary, you put that all together, you get an excellent defense that can win yourself a championship.
Yeah, we were also missing Cam Schiffler wasn't there this week too, so
yeah,
it's another big piece coming back. We filled that role though.
quite well actually. And you guys just.
I'm looking at Brock. Tell them good things about me. He cracks me up.
Yo, he's a main event player, Brock Line is. Anyways,
Main event knocking kickers out, yeah. Jesus.
Number 1, man, Brock Line. Oh man, shout out. That was excellent. Number 4, Broadaxe, 2-2. I'm still saying this team come June is going to play a lot differently. I just feel like something's going to click. Something has to click. I feel like they have Clancy. That's already a good start, but I feel like there's not much else going on with the offense. He is the offense. It's a good thing he is there because I feel like without him, I feel like they'd be way worse. I feel like that team could be in the bottom of the league without him, depending on who they were using instead. You put somebody else in there that's not as good, and all of a sudden the team goes downhill. But he has been the shining star for this offense so far. And Ruckus gave him a great game, and actually from start to finish. But otherwise, this team is starting to show signs of struggle. ADR and Ruckus beat them back to back. The defense seems like it's not really there altogether. The offense is just Clancy at this point. That's the one thing sticking out to me the most. I don't know how you feel with that going, but I just watched most plays, and he's just running for his life, and he's the one converting the long third downs of his legs too. I got
Yeah,
Eisenberg on
he
Saturday.
killed us. He killed us week one with his feet. You know, we thought we had him. He got out of the pocket and he just extends the play, and that's that.
That fourth down touchdown.
He had that dude had one of the nicest throws I've seen in this league. Pretty sure it was like a little 5-yard out. And I mean, he put this thing piss rod. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I'm standing on the sideline just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude, it's fun to watch. I mean, it sucks when it's happening to you, but that dude is an absolute fucking cannon.
He is fun to watch.
He has,
Sniper. Active shooter on the field is what he is.
yeah, he is as excellent. And I look forward to seeing him even more in our league. And even once we have Virginia Beach in a few weeks, too. The Bullets are scheduled to be down there. Clancy and Company will be down there, too. But we'll get to that a little later on. Going over here now to number 3 is, oddly enough, the program. You know, they crushed the Railroaders with relative ease. Just absolutely had their way, just destroyed them. It was just too easy for them. But that game against Warriors, they looked rough. And I know it's hard to say why a program at 3, but I'm going to say they were caught off guard by you guys. I think they didn't take you guys serious in that game either. Or at least as serious as they should have. I feel like there was a lot of overconfidence going into that one, especially with how they destroyed the Railroaders and how they destroyed Ruckus. They finally got over the Ruckus curse they had, where they couldn't beat them. They went out there and then crushed the Railroaders. They recovered since the ADR game, clearly. But the thing is, they went into this game, I think, expecting the same Warriors team that is just a pass rush, and that's mostly it. Because that's what most games boil down to against when you guys match up is line play. When it comes to when Adam has time, he gets the ball off. In this game, he did not. He did not have any time. He had nothing. And he made mistakes, and you guys forced him into those mistakes. And they were shooken by the end of the game. I could tell they did not expect that loss to happen.
Yeah, they weren't very happy. I get it.
And I don't blame them at all. That's a tough loss to have.
Especially when they've kicked our ass, since the inception. So it felt pretty good. And it's a good game, good physical game as always. You can't. I'd be pissed too, but I've been on both sides of that result, so just felt good to actually come out, and offense played damn good, mistake-free ball. Cody Snavely, he led the troops, man, and I know that win felt damn good for Polo too against the old squad. Like that dude went out there and balled. He was on another level. Like you could just see he wanted it more.
He did, and I want to say he had 13 receptions in that game or something like that. I just felt like pass went to him. He was just catching everything.
It was easily over 10, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Snavely did a damn good job of stepping up in the pocket and hanging in there and throwing that ball, man. Like that's probably the best I've seen Cody play.
Yeah. That connection was just fantastic from start to finish, and I don't know if you guys will have that team this week or any other week, but if you do, it'll help you guys out. But if the program can the program, going back to them, because we're getting distracted with you guys. Right now, that offense is stagnating badly, and this is actually a problem that's been recurring for a while with them. It's been downhill since last spring. They've not been the same team since last spring.
I think they do. I think they have the playmakers. I
Yeah.
just feel like they make questionable decisions on how to get the ball in their hands.
Mhm.
I mean, I know exactly what I would do if I had, you know, Kinley and Tez and all those dudes. I know exactly what I'd be doing, but I talked to some of the guys afterwards about, you know, what I think they should be doing. Because I help anybody. I want to see this league grow, and it's cool to watch people shine. And they
Let me
have all
think.
the talent in the world, so it's kind of, it sucks to see somebody not perform on the level that they can do it. So
Yeah.
especially that was my old squad, so I always want to see them do well. And it was a different, I don't know, they just had a different vibe to them last week.
They just seemed defeated after you guys. Like it was stunning watching them go from this euphoric feeling of confidence to just dead at the end of
Yeah,
the year. And
that's exactly what happened to us, though.
yeah, oh boy. But
Just to a little bit better team.
number three, they're going to stay for three, but that's for now. We're going to see how this weekend plays out because this weekend
They'll
is going to
bounce back.
be. Yeah, they're definitely going to bounce back. They got time. They got a week off to recover, which they need.
Fearless leader wasn't there, Jacob.
Yeah, he wasn't there, and that is one of the big differences. But you know what? You weren't playing either, so would he have been calling on the sideline too? But looking around and going ahead to number two now is Ruckus, who jumped up 3 spots because they finally ended the curse against Broad Axe. And honestly, I know it's a little weird to put them ahead of Program after Program played against them a few weeks ago, but that game's almost a month old now. That game is not as relevant as it was a few weeks ago.
What's their record?
Right now, if I look at leave my glasses back on. Ruckus is 2-2, Program's 3-2. But to me, the biggest difference is the fact that Ruckus is playing on a much better level than the program is right now. It's the same argument that I had with the Immortals X-Dogs earlier, where it's like I feel like the Immortals is playing up on a better level than the X-Dogs is going in. We'll see how it goes. I feel like the Immortals have a lot going on for them when they have their full squad together. Yes, Sean, I feel that way about your team. Shout out to
Damn right.
Saturday. But if they have their full squad there, they could do it. Same thing with this Ruckus squad. If they play like they did against Broad Axe, that inspired performance, and they bring that to the table come postseason, I feel like they got something to them. They have that spring vibe to them. I felt it the other day.
Program should still be ahead
I don't think so because Program,
of them.
you could say they were caught off guard, but at the same time, they just played such an awful game. It was bad.
Something had too easy.
They did, and that was the problem. You can't just go in there and think you have 2 easy games. But I don't think that you may say that, but at the same time, and I don't want to brought that point up. I know, but it's like also at the same time, it's like you got to be better. And it seems like there was a bit of a regression from game 1 to 2, and that regression to me puts Ruckus over them because Ruckus showed me something they never did before on Sunday.
Right.
So praise to Ruckus who stepped it up. There's only one league team that Ruckus has not beaten yet that's in this current season, and that's ADR. That's it. The team ahead of them right now. Ruckus, I feel like has the kind of offense that can go out there and put up points with Renner. Renner is deceiving. He's smart. This guy is posting film on there. You know he's studying film. He's watching it. He's trying to see how to make himself better. You could tell by the film he's posting on the page. I see it. A smart football player. I played with him a few years on Ducks and Survivors. I know it firsthand. That defense is always good. People give it a lot of flack, but they play excellent team ball. It's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward, especially this weekend. But we're going to first talk about number one right now, and that's ADR. They are number one in spite of dressing 11 guys. What is it, And they had to start the game. What was that offense they brought out in the first quarter? That was something they brought out there.
Man. But they brought the right guys.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like you probably feel the way that teams in Keystone feel when they play you guys, and you dress like 11 dudes, and they still smash you. You guys still smash them.
That's what I don't understand about people saying that we're stacked, like we're stacking the deck. There's a roster limit up there. We have the fewest amount of players.
I'm about to say you guys dressed 13 against the Dogs, but ADR dressed even less, and they won by a combined 70 points.
Yeah, they're just again. It goes back to playing the system. Like they're not doing this shit by getting lucky. Like they're they're number one for a reason, man. It's frustrating because I just don't know how to stop them.
I sat there and I thought Warriors might have a shot if pass rush gets to Boone. They do what Top Gun played Boone the best last year, and nobody's been able to get that same performance out of their since in our league. And I thought you guys had the best shot at it with the team you brought out there against Program, but ADR just rolled up. They walked up is what happened. They walked up, got on the field, and was just like, okay, let's win.
Yeah, I mean it's.
You guys were hyped, you were ready, and they were just talking about other stuff. They didn't care. They just were like, let's go.
If we were ever going to beat them, that was our best shot, and we shit the bed. It was terrible. The first drive, I thought we might have been okay because we had an interception, but then it just, I think what's his name, Sean Parker, I think had 2 picks, and
yeah, he had a pick 6 on Snavely.
Yes, he did. Raw stowed for the flag. Hell of an effort. Came up a little short.
Thanks, Mo.
Yeah, it was the look on your face was just should have been a meme, man.
Been doing desperation dives on interceptions anymore, man. I gotta stop doing that and start bodying up.
Yeah.
I should have bodied up, man. I should have. That was the look on my face. I should have bodied up.
Yeah, you should have bodied up Boone. And I don't know what that would have achieved. But
I would have helped him up. Right away.
I'm about to say you better have helped him up right away.
Warriors said if Brunswick was friends here, they're the only team in Washington football that had kids.
I was about to get to my Bassford Heritage Bowl preview special thing.
So simmer down.
The good news is none of you guys will see ADR for a month. They don't come back to June 2nd. They played 6 games already.
They came in, kicked our ass, kicked right now. Exit the stage left for right now.
They pulled a Stone Cold Steve Austin is what they did. They walked in,
Arrive, raise hell, leave.
Yep. That was it. It was one of the craziest games I ever watched in my life.
Feel better about that part.
Yeah.
We beat program.
You did beat program, and that means a lot to you guys. I would have just gotten trolled at that point because you guys were just down and out. Moving on now to the preview of this Bassford Heritage Bowl. Replacing the survivors is Ruckus. However, any former survivor player in this game, which I know there's a lot in these 3 games, there's a lot on all 3 of these teams. I talked to the captains. You're welcome to wear your old survivor jersey, provided it makes sense and fits with what color your team wears. Like,
Because there's so many other teams with a bright ass green jersey.
Well, in your case, you should be good. You're good. I'm referring to don't wear a black if, say, you're wearing a black Survivors jersey.
I forgot about the OG jerseys.
Yeah, we had black and green. Man, it's good. This is pretty sharp too. Shout out Daniel Taylor. Excellent design on those jerseys, but no, any player who's played for Survivors welcome to wear your jersey as long as it makes sense for the game. Like if you're on Ruckus, don't wear black if you're a former Survivors player because Survivors were black and green against, say, the Railroaders black, the green jersey go ahead. Has to contrast. But looking ahead at this little preview, Ruckus has owned both of these squads. I'm sorry, but Smithsburg seems to be dominating Brunswick, Boonesboro, and Williamsport overall here. If we were to talk what Dustin Mitchell and company has done. But Ruckus as a whole, 3-0 over Brunswick. And these games are not even close. 44-7, 32-0, 35-0. Combined 111-7 in 3 games
Just against one.
against Brunswick. Not good, right, Sean?
Certainly seen worse, but not good at all.
That alumni game must have really felt good for Brian. That is for certain. Because the Warriors gave it to him just as bad. 34-0 twice in the fall of 17. 21-14.
Brian is basically how Alex Ovechkin was last summer with the Stanley Cup. He's still going nuts. Still that trophy. God knows what he does with that thing behind closed doors. I mean, it's just. I think he has it in his race car with him. Rides in the truck with the HOV lane as a passenger. That thing. I don't even know. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
I had to get that off my chest.
You're Moach, you're allowed to say whatever you want. I've heard more controversial things. Trust me, you're good to say whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good smack talk before your all's game, trust me. Because Brunswick's in one of their revenge. 21-14 in last year's game. And honestly, that was the turning point for them. Before that, they were on their way up. They had just destroyed Top Gun a week earlier to get their first win ever. And I came in thinking Brunswick had a shot in that Bassman Bowl. And a lot of people did too. That poll favored the Railroad Assassins for the most part going into it. And so they lost that game and they never recovered. In fact, against Survivors, they lost that game in the weirdest way. They threw 2 pick sixes. They gave up less than 0 yards. They held the Survivors to negative yards and lost by 17. And then after that, tailspin and never recovered. And they're still in the same place since. And so you look at this, the Railroaders, they're going to want a piece of you guys. 21-14, 12-0, 18-0 in the fall. Only 14 points total they scored against you. The combined total, looking ahead at this, is about 119-14. Warriors over Railroaders.
Shit. I think me, Brock, and JR had, oh my God. How many sacks did we have that day? I can't even count that high. Yeah, see,
That's what someone told me. 15 combined sacks. It was such a dominant performance. We had to get the entire D-line MVP.
Yeah.
Felt pretty good. Brock still got the trophy. God knows what he does with that thing.
The little
weirdo. Poppy Chulo.
Oh, man.
Get sacked.
It's a little bit closer between you guys and Ruckus, though. Ruckus still undefeated. 34-0 the first time. Cody Snavely was the quarterback for that one, with John Shobe as also quarterback for Ruckus in that game.
Dressed 12 people. We all had mismatched shirts on, like t-shirts and shit.
Yeah, and you had mostly 40-year-old men.
40-year-old men.
Yeah.
And he told you to get younger.
Yeah.
Classic. I love that one. But 24-6 was the next meeting. A little closer. Pulled within a little bit. Then it was 33-24. Pulled within a little bit. Brought in John Shobe. Got a little better. And then it was 7-6 in the spring of 18. You guys almost had them in the rain.
You want to know what happened? We fucking kicked the ball right to him on a punt after I said, do not kick it to the middle of the field. Do you know how frustrating that is?
It's the worst feeling in the world because you know it should have never even been a thing in the first place. You know, it
Marty
should have
Spruce house that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, there he goes, right down the sideline.
The classic punt
Terrible.
return.
Yep.
Especially when it's the only score, it's also the worst.
Oh yeah, it's salty. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. But looking at,
I think I got blocked in the back.
Did
That's
you?
why I couldn't do the flag back.
The excuses.
the excuses, yeah.
Why not?
You got more excuses than Sean Payton. Looking at the next result in the fall, it was 7-0 Ruckus over Warriors. You guys play some really boring games. I'm sorry. Oh, they're excellent in the trenches. You guys have great trench warfare. It's just the offense just gets uber sloppier. I don't know whether it's the defense causing it or just both teams not playing well. Steven Renner, however, played you guys extremely well, 18-0 a few weeks ago. What's so different about this matchup, fellas, compared to that last game?
Well, we have a new quarterback.
They used to play.
You know, a true experienced quarterback, coming off a a damn good performance last week against Program, that traditionally has a really good defense. Just got to get the guys to show up, man. Like I've been saying it all year. When we have the right people, you know, we can be dangerous. You know, we can hang in there with some of the top tier teams. It's just getting people to show up. So it'll be another. I think it's going to be another. You know, I don't think anybody's going to score more than 12 points. I'll put it to you that way. It'll be a one-score game. I think it's going to start out really slow again, like usual. Everybody just trying to protect the ball, really, but then just got to watch the turnovers, man. I mean, I'm already. I just remembered I picked off Renner. That's right. Forgot about that.
Yeah, that was your first pick of the season. And you got your second on Saturday against Matt Eisenberg.
Yeah. Tell you what, man, that second one that was huge. Like,
oh, I know you loved it.
that one.
I know you loved
Fourth
it.
quarter, late in the game, like that felt damn good. If I had flags on, might have been 6. But
It would have been even better. But that's still an awesome play you made there. You made the play of the game because any other scenario, Matt Eisenberg drives down that field. You made a big stop right there on that pick.
Thank you. We'll
big
never know.
Play. Never know.
Back to Ruckus. Like it'll be a good game. Physical. You know, both sides of the line are going to be physical. So I love playing those guys.
It's always a good game when you guys face off. It really is. Looking ahead at the other game you guys have, before we ask you your opinion on the other game that Ruckus plays, you guys got Railroaders. What do you expect out of Brunswick here? You know they're going to want a piece of you because the Boonesboro Brunswick has been a little bit of a chippy thing because they consider you guys Boonesboro Warriors, and they're the Brunswick Railroaders. So what do you expect out of this matchup?
Well, all just depends who shows up. I mean, it's week 1 looked like they had a pretty full squad. You know, looked like they had subs. Thought they looked pretty light, like recently, but you know, this is pretty much their Super Bowl anytime they play us. So
that's a fact.
It'll be fun. It's going to be physical, and I don't know what to say. I just hope they have a plan on offense because we're coming, Daniel Taylor. You know what's coming your way.
Yeah, and we'll see what's coming this way indeed. I feel like your all's pass rush is going to make this game very difficult for this Brunswick team who has a hard time with a passing offense, it seems like. I don't. It'll be interesting. It might be physical with you. I feel like this could turn into an old school 1990s flag football game or something. I'm feeling like I'm watching my dad's team all over again by the end of it. A lot of sweeps, a lot of quick passes.
If it goes that way, we win that game. we win physicality wise. I don't know. I don't want to say we're the best, but we're up there.
We're definitely up there.
Definitely. You guys are one of the better ones. Going over into the predictions, who do you got winning the Railroaders Ruckus game?
Just got to go Ruckus. I mean, you have to after that win against Broadax. They're riding high. I think Renner's definitely got the confidence to just start slinging the ball. I think they win by 3 scores.
Three
I
scores?
wouldn't be surprised to see a shutout.
I can see that.
21-0.
Ross?
We'll go Ruckus 7-0.
Ruckus 7-0?
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe 14.
Over under.
I'll put that in parentheses. Maybe 14. All right. I will hold off on my prediction because I got another guy who wants to call in if I can see if he's still available.
Yeah, my phone's at about 4%. So
4%?
Okay, bye,
yeah.
Moats, I completely understand. All right,
But
sir.
again, yeah, I know you people are probably getting sick of seeing me on this damn screen with my ugly mug, but I'm no George Clooney. But thanks for having me, Joey. Like, always a pleasure.
Hey, man, I'm always glad to have you on. Love to have you as a consistent host. You do a great job on this segment. And you know Keystone and County, so it's good to have that connection right there. You're a long-time experienced player. You've been involved in this league as long as I have. You played way back in 2014 when I first joined the league. You're one of the originals. I remember from back in the day.
2009 was my rookie year.
Wow. Ooh, that was my high school senior year.
This is 10
Yeah.
years.
10-year. That's your 10-year anniversary.
I know, man.
I think
Seasoned.
Were you fall 09?
What's up?
So were you fall 09?
Fall 09, I played with a team called the Renegades. Back then, it was Renegades, Miller Lite, Mack Truck. Oh, shit. Crazy Horse still had a team. Yeah, it was way back in the day.
Much different league back then.
Much different.
You're one of the few players. I think you're one of the few still around, I believe, who remember what the league was like back then.
That sounds terrible. Making me feel old, man.
You ain't old, man. You still play like you're that age.
I'm trying.
You don't try, you do, Moats. You do good.
Appreciate it, man.
Shout out.
All right, fellas.
All
Have
right,
a good
Moats.
one.
Later, bud.
Later. And now, somebody wants to address some rumors that were started earlier tonight. We're going to see if there's any information. Ah, here he is. And he's in full-blown uniform. This man is ready for Sunday. Brian Slogger, welcome to Blunt Talk.
We talking flag?
We talking flag football. You got your
Flag
helmet on
football.
already.
That's just cardio.
Cardio for you? Hey,
It's
I mean,
flag
you're 2
cardio.
tackle football. I like it, man. I like it. The helmet looks great. The jersey looks great. It's popping, man. You gonna bust it out for Sunday?
Absolutely. We agreed to it, right? All 3
Yeah.
teams. Full pad.
Full pad? I like it. All contact. Are you gonna tell the rest beforehand too?
No, we were just going to show up in pads.
Hey, let's call it circuit rules this weekend. Just like don't call anything. Let's just go ahead and go out there have a full-on game. Make it as close to tackle as we can get.
And that's what we're going to bring on Sunday. I guarantee you. We got rain coming, and we don't do good throwing the ball, so we're just going to run it. That's all we're going to do.
Hey, I expect nothing more from you guys to come out there and run the ball. You guys do extremely well. I saw firsthand against the Moco Rams and the Washington County All-Stars. The last time Ross Collins was on the field against you when he took a loss to the Brunswick Railroaders. Ross,
His name.
the last time you faced Swagger, you lost to him.
You haven't played with Blackton?
You haven't played him since. You haven't got your redemption yet. You had a shot on May 18th. This could have been a nice little tie-in to that game.
Joey, I got a May 18th trophy right here.
Can we refurbish that as a Bassford Heritage Bowl trophy, possibly?
No, that's a $125 trophy.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. We good. We good. We good.
That's going to be that trophy behind me is going to be the inaugural Brunswick semi-pro trophy for the home game. Ross will be in that.
Oh, okay. Who you guys scheduled? You guys have a scheduled game yet, or what's the
No,
information on that?
That's July 2020.
2020, Brian. Wow, you got a whole year till that happens. What are you planning on doing in the meantime with this team?
Well, we're going to finish out this flag season. Once the flag season completes, that's when we're going to get everybody together for the semi-pro. So
Right.
know, Brunswick has merged with the Washington County guys, and we're really looking forward to that. A lot of good guys over there, and we have a lot of good guys, and we've been laying the foundation for it, and looking forward to our first practice. It's going to be as soon as the playoffs are over for Washington County flag football.
Awesome. I look forward to be covering that. What is the name of the league you guys will be playing in?
It's the TFL, True Football League.
Oh, the same True Football League that you beat their champion from?
Yes, I think we did.
I guess you're the true champion, Mr. Swagger.
Well, there's also the XFL. I think they have a team in Washington. Maybe they need an exhibition game.
Hey, hit him up. I mean, I'm sure they're looking to take on anybody, man. Go ahead and play them out there. I think the Railroaders could possibly score a dub against an XFL team. I mean, they ain't much eye left to them either. You guys are going out there so y'all can ball, but the thing about it is, flag football, you haven't quite hit that mark yet.
Quite,
this-
Joey. We've been awful. You don't got to sugarcoat it. We've been awful, Joey. We know this.
I know. And you know what? It's true. But the thing
True.
is, this weekend, you have a chance for redemption. This is your
We do.
opportunity. This is a tournament scenario. This is momentum. Whereas when you guys beat the County All-Stars back in November, turned your fortune around for tackle football, this could turn around for flag football. Think of it this way. This is the All-Star rematch. You are
Oh,
facing
shit.
those guys, but in flag
Damn,
form.
maybe how about we just play one game? Just get Ruckus and Warriors to team up, and we'll show up in pads.
You want that offer, Ross Collins? You want it? I mean, it's on the table right there. Are y'all bringing the pads? He wants to know.
I have spare pads. If they need pads, I can give them pads.
How many? He's ready.
Is Ross still suspended?
What? What you say?
Is Ross
What's that?
still suspended?
No, Ross will be there Sunday and ready to roll.
Thank God. We don't want any excuses. Jesus.
They don't want any excuses for when you lose to them.
We won the game. I had a suspension though, so
That is true. They won without you. Is that a sign? Is that a sign, Ross?
I might start coaching.
Coach Ross?
I might whoop your ass from the sidelines, Brian Swagger.
From the sidelines. Ooh.
Ross is a great football mind. There's no doubt.
No, I agree. Ross is a good mind, and you know what? You're good. You're a good mind too, Brian. I've seen how you've been able to get the things going for the Railroaders franchise so far.
I hope they run that little 4 wide receiver to the right thing. Or Swagger.
Oh, the screen to Swagger they ran on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, that was the best play I've ever seen.
Ross
Yeah, I can
is out-
tell you about that play. So when we got in that formation and we snapped the ball, I said, "Holy shit! I'm the second best athlete on this offense right now." I knew we were in trouble.
Big trouble. No,
Yeah.
So you throw us under the bus a little bit, Joey, but not to make excuses. Everybody's got assholes, we have an attendance problem. Attendance problem doesn't show up in full contact football, but it shows up in our flag.
And that's
We
what
gotta
does
get
hinder you.
guys need to buy in.
full contact is
I don't-
bad at football. Is I should say.
No, I agree. I think both are fun. They're great. Both great brands. But going back to this Bassford Bowl, Brian, what are your thoughts going into this matchup with the Warriors? Are you, or let's say let's go to the Ruckus game first. It's the first one.
Sure, it's
What
easier to talk. The Ruckus game's easier to talk about. So I think, as you know, we scrimmaged Ruckus in the beginning of the year down at Oakdale High School. It was good. They may have won by a score, so I think both teams are evenly matched. We know they got a pretty daggone good running back. The quarterback's coming around. Good receivers, Dustin. So we got it's gonna be a tough game on Sunday morning in the rain.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be a nice little old school football game where you have both teams who are not throwing deep as much as they are just trying to move the ball with the running game, which I feel like is going to be the best bet because it's supposed to be a downpour in that morning, is what I'm reading. That morning is supposed to be heavy in rain.
Yeah, we're not complaining about the weather. All three of our games so far has been in downpour, so we're getting used to it. You know me, I have a complete confidence in Mike Beachley. Unfortunately, what gets missed in our flag football is how good our defense is. Our offense puts the defense in terrible positions, and Mike Beachley and his guys bail us out. They keep the games close, and we let them down. And I think we should play both of these games Sunday. We don't need to keep the clock. We can just play the first to two scores wins. I think whoever scores 2 touchdowns in each game will bring home this trophy right here.
Ooh, is that the official Bassford Heritage Bowl trophy?
It is, and it's probably going to come with a beer too. There'll be a beer in it, a veteran style.
Excellent. To drink when they get home.
No.
Still a beer in there too, right?
Yeah, the beer's in there, man. Make sure to share one with Mama if you all can. She would appreciate it for playing football on her day.
No, it's like, I thought you were calling yourself mom.
No. What?
That was so cute.
What? Oh, what? Anyways.
Mommy.
But, Brian, you guys have a break in between before you play the Warriors. You feel like it helps you out more, or does it hurt you guys a little bit? Or do you feel like it might help you? How do you feel?
100% going to help us. We're from Brunswick. We're going to go to a bar. Duh. Unless I bring a keg to the field, but then we could just stay in my truck.
I'm sure that'd be interesting.
I'm sure Ross will order Papa John's for us.
Hey, I'd be down for that. You're making Domino's. I'm a little biased. But going into this next matchup, Warriors, you guys have played them tough every time. I do think this is your all Super Bowl, but I also feel like Ruckus is the Warriors Super Bowl, so don't feel bad.
Joey, I think you know me enough. Joe, you know me enough. The Super Bowl isn't Sunday, okay? Super Bowl is like June 16th. So we respect Ruckus.
You played them tough like that. That's how you played them. That's the level you played them every time. The results haven't shown it, but the fight you guys have in every game has been there. You can look back to the Basketball Bowl last year, 21-14, just a mistake or two away from winning that game.
That was a good game. The previous game with the Warriors, they've kicked our ass. And I'm not a participation trophy type person. So it's about wins and losses, and we have yet to beat the Warriors. We have yet to beat Ruckus. We've yet to beat many teams in the Washington County Flag Football League. So those moral victories aren't good, and Chris Boone just reminded me of that, and he's right. You need W's, and I don't know. We're there to win, and we got to win. If you don't win, you suck. So we need to be 7th in the rankings.
Yeah, and that's position you are right now. However, for a win here, you can jump up pretty quickly. That's a big momentum boost. It can happen. 2-0 is a very big possibility here. It is going to be rainy. The elements will be against both parties. It is Mother's Day. We don't know who's going to have what. That trench war is going to be the biggest factor. Because if offensive lines are depleted, which is more likely than defensive lines being depleted, it can make for some very interesting defensive games in the end. Because you're going to find yourself in a situation where it's going to come down to what quarterback can overcome the pass rush the most, or the best, rather.
So you saw Robert in there on Sunday. Cody Smith has a bad ankle. He's on injured reserve. So our line was our strong suit, and now we got some injuries. So
And
it's
that's
what
a
it is.
shame.
You know?
But
It's what it is.
you know,
Football.
next man up. And you guys do have a lot of players. You got a lot of depth in that alumni team.
I got 52-year-old Jim Stewart on standby. So
52-year-old Jim Stewart. All right.
mhm.
Hey, man, we're glad to have anybody up here in county. That's awesome. Those Brunswick guys, they love football. They can tell football is definitely the sport for Brunswick. Really proud of what you guys are doing down there to keep the game alive and to keep
Yeah.
something going in the community.
I guess if you had to pick to be good at flag or be good at tackle, I think we picked the right football.
I think so too. And I think this Sunday you guys do have a chance, but I think it's all going to boil down to whether or not you guys against, and I'm going to get to that in predictions, but your biggest thing is quarterback play. I'm going to ask you, who's starting on Sunday?
No, Joey, the biggest thing comes down to is attendance, right? So so I look like a monkey screwing a football last Sunday, but we had a game plan. We game planned all week. We had a good plan. I had 10 guys not show Sunday morning. A couple showed up at game time. A couple showed up at halftime. You can't practice much, guys are giving up one weekend day. They can't give up two. So practice has to be done before, prior to the game, about an hour before the game. And guys don't show up. You go out there and you lay an egg. Anybody can go out and play defense. You can play cover 3, you can play cover 2, you can play man. You can put blitz packages in. That's pretty easy. But to put an offense together without, I'll be honest, we don't have flag type athletes on our team, right? We got tackle type athletes. Like if I could hand a ball off to Seth Wagner, 20 times a game, we're going to score points. But you can't do that in flat, So we are handcuffed because we don't have those athletes. We just can't say, hey, you run a fly pattern, I'm going to hit you deep. We can't do it. We got a scheme to get points. And when guys don't show up, we don't prepare. We look even worse than other teams that have flag athletes because we don't get that practice in. So if you show up next Sunday and at 9:25 you see the Brunswick Railroader flag team on the field practicing, it's going to be a good day. If you show up and we're not on the field practicing, it's going to be a bad day. So that's what it's going to come down to. I don't care if Daniel Taylor's the quarterback. I don't care if Timmy Privett's a quarterback. I don't care if Ian Fisher's a quarterback. If we don't practice, we will not win. If we don't show up on time, if we don't set our alarms, if we get too drunk Saturday night, we'll shit the bed on Sunday. So that's the deal. It doesn't matter who's quarterback.
He's right. He's right. No, he's right. I'm just curious the direction of the offense more so because you guys have played a lot of schemes this season, and I do like the approach of adjusting your approach depending on who your opponent is. I feel like that's something a lot of teams don't do. It's strategy football, and that is your biggest strength as a team, is you're able to play that kind of ball. So that was not more of a jab at you guys. That was more of a curiosity, just to just to clarify. But I like the response to that. That is true. Without the numbers, your game plan does change, especially when you get last-minute answers or you get no answers, period. Sometimes you don't even know what happened to the guy.
Right. We've already got the game plan in. Everybody's bought in. Everybody bought in last week. And then the game plan shit the bed because we didn't have attendance. And so anyway, we got a game plan this week, and if people show up, maybe it'll be successful at it. I don't know.
We'll see.
I know one thing. Mike Beachley and his defense will bring it. That's what I know. The other teams might score one touchdown. It might be a pick six, but Beachley and co. they'll do the job. You know that.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Beachley is underrated as one of the defensive captains in this league. That defense plays very hard. They play very well. They're good fundamentally. And like you said, they just don't get in the best positions. That's what really hurts them. And I've seen that before with defenses too. That kills the defense fast. But this Sunday, I feel like this is their time to feast. The elements will be in their favor. You got to see if there's a mismatch on the offensive line you can exploit. If one of these teams are down linemen, it could be problematic for them, but an advantage for you because you guys have a defense.
We know what Boonesboro's defensive line's like.
Oh yeah. So the question is, will you come at them harder than usual? Will you come out running the Maryland die on them? I do want to see that. I just see you guys turn into a Wing T Maryland Eye game, to be honest.
Joey, I'm having some amnesia right now. I can't remember the game plan. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
Hmm.
I get that. I get
I'll
that.
tell you what, you're going to want to buy a ticket. All right, it's going to be exciting and show up. It's going to
I
be
agree.
different. It's going to be different and just be there Sunday. It'll be fun.
So my question is, who do you got between Ruckus Warriors?
Oh, okay, that's good. I can talk to that. So I love everybody. You know, there's guys on Boonesboro I love. There's guys on Ruckus I love. But you got to give the hot hand to Ruckus. That quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That quarterback come alive on Sunday, and I guess he's the hot hand.
Even Renner.
I feel like I like Cody as well. He can do things. You just got to put him in positions to be successful. But Ruckus has the momentum, and I'd say 14-7 Ruckus.
14-7 Ruckus.
Yeah.
All right. I can see that as a final score too. It's always a defensive game between those squads. I feel like at least one or two scores will break out, but we'll get to that momentarily. I'm going to hold off my predictions. Okay, Ross.
What?
It's all right. But yeah, Brian, you're going to go with Ruckus. I'll get to mine in a moment. Anything you want to say before you go tonight?
No. I wish it was Sunday. We're ready to go. And Joey, you mean a lot to the league. That goes without saying. You keep the league very popular, and all my guys have tuned in right now. And everything you've done for alumni football and semi-pro football, sounds like we're finally going to get you under contract. That was good news today. Hope you take advantage of that. So we really appreciate donating a trophy for this. We want to make it special for you. And Sunday, we get 9 or 10 games that we get to shine, and on Sunday you get to shine. We thank you. We thank your father, and hopefully we put on a good show. And we gotta break out a pen and a paper to see who the champion is on Sunday. And yeah, Sunday's about you, and we're gonna make it special. Sorry, it's gonna rain, but hey, that's football, and I'm sure you like it.
I'm going to love it, and if I can't get a live stream, I'm going to try to bring a camera that allows me to film in the rain. Let's try to at least get that done. I want to get some film of this because last year was a great event. I had a good time. I just can't wait for this year. I can't wait for this Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun too.
It really worked out. I am so glad the 3 teams are in it who are in it. Ruckus, Warriors, and Brunswick. It's perfect. It's perfect.
It is. It worked out perfectly. Ruckus has that connection to Survivors and Ducks from back in my time period, when I first joined the league and played back in the day. So I'm really happy to have him as part of it this year. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a more competitive game this time around between all 3 squads. So I look forward to seeing how it goes Sunday morning. 10 a.m. will be the games. Warriors, Ruckus, Railroaders. I keep going back and forth on that. My apologies. I'm stoked. Brian, thank you for joining us tonight.
All righty. In costume. In costume, but I got one more question for you. I want you to confirm or deny the rumor Mode said earlier. What do you do with those trophies off stream?
Yeah.
I go swimming with them in the Potomac. What are you talking about?
Okay, I was just wondering, man. Modes was saying you do stuff. I was just wondering what it was, man. I'm just curious, man.
I don't sleep alone.
Hey, man, you got plenty of trophies to sleep with.
Why do you think the trophies keep getting bigger?
I mean, trophies?
Yeah, do you have championship trophies like Brian does? Look at those trophies, man. They're huge.
I have one.
You got semi-pro right here, Joey.
I see it, man. You guys get that whooping on the Moco Rams.
Yes, we did.
Yes, beat them worse than the Patriots beat the real Rams, man. Y'all were good, man. Y'all were better than Belichick that day.
All right. I'm sure people are sick of seeing my face. Move on, Joey.
We'll move on, Brian. You have a good night, buddy. We'll see you Sunday.
Absolutely, won't miss it.
Peace out. Brian Swagger joining us. Those trophies, man. Like, he loves them. I've gone through all 4 of them, and none of them are going to be able to do it. So, unless one of them wants to call in, feel free. If I get a request, I'll look into it. But I guess this is where I move on to my predictions of the Bassford Heritage Bowl. Personally, looking at this first game, Ruckus Railroaders, until Brunswick can get an offense going, I have a hard time putting much confidence into them. I really do. I feel like their defense will keep them in this game for certain. If they can get a rush on Renner and get to him, they'll be fine. But I feel like Renner is going to go after them. He's going to go after that defense. He's going to try to torch them in the air. He's going to try to run through them. He's going to try to run around them. And I feel like that's where he's going to be successful at. Danny Longerbeam wants to call in. Okay. I didn't even know you were up. Usually you're awake at this time. But I feel like going into this one, if Ruckus could keep Renner on the same level he was at just a few weeks ago, or just last week, rather.
Hey, what's going on?
Get headphones.
Huh?
Get headphones. Call him back. I knew immediately, like I heard of the audio, I was like, let's go fix that. But I feel like if Ruckus and are Railroaders, because they're both R's.
Right. It is confusing.
Yeah.
I'm still going to call them
The Ass, the Assassins. That was an unfortunate abbreviation name. I hope like no team ever chooses that name again. Oh, it's not a good name to go with. But basically, looking at this game, I feel like Ruckus takes it. I want to say by 2 scores. It could be. It's very well could be a 14-0 game. I feel like Stephen gets in 2 scores with either throwing or passing. It depends on how heavy this rain gets and what Ruckus brings to the table. But I see it being a low-scoring game because of the rain.
Maybe 12-0 because they're
Maybe even that too. I could totally see it. That Ruckus offensive line is good, but the rain could be a factor. It's a lot coming off the Broad X win. There's a letdown possibility. I think early on the Railroaders put up a fight, but in the end,
and they're going to have to play us afterwards.
Yeah, and they're going to be thinking about that. And I feel like Ruckus takes it. Now, I'm going to skip Ruckus versus Warriors because I'm looking around at that game and I don't want to pick the champion beforehand. I want to instead pick this third game so I don't spoil who wins, in my opinion. Railroaders, Warriors. I want to go for you guys. Because, I don't know, though. I don't know. I feel like defensively, if you guys bring the team you have, you're going to win this game. If that team's the team that shows up on Sunday, at least you get a few of those guys back, you win this game.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
If Brunswick can establish the offense, though, and the defense shows up, which I feel that they can,
Right.
I feel like Brunswick has a shot. But unless they show that in the first game, I can't really buy into it in the second game. And so I'm going to go with you guys in that one. Warriors over Railroaders, and now it comes down to the final. Who do I think wins the game? This is a tough one. You guys play them tough every time. Every time it's a fight between you guys. It's always close. It's going to be the second game Ruckus has that day. It'll be your all's first. You get to see what they're doing. And if you guys have that full roster, you can play with anybody any given Sunday. However, Ruckus has something you guys, I feel like, don't quite have established yet. And that's the quarterback position. I feel like right now, Ruckus, you can't say anybody else could be the quarterback for Ruckus. But with the Warriors, as good as Snavely did on Sunday, I feel like he's not the guy yet. But we'll see. He's got a lot of growing to do, but we'll see. I feel like it's not solidified. But if he comes out and balls like Steven Renner did last week, then you could say Snavely is that guy. And so, with that being said, I'm going to go with Ruckus. And another close but low-scoring-ish game.
Fair enough.
I feel like Ruckus will play better offensively, throwing the ball. Steven Renner at quarterback. The defense alone can hold him in the game. Ruckus, to me, is the better overall team. So, as much as your D-line is one of the best in this league, I feel like that's not enough to beat them. I feel like it's enough to have another close loss, but not enough to get the win you need. So I'm going to go with Ruckus in a close one. They're going to pull away late, though. But it's going to be one of those games where it was close all the way through. 21-7, something like that.
21-7.
Maybe even 14-0 again. I just see a lot of low-scoring games this weekend. It just feels like slugfest. It feels like old school flag football.
The winner of the Ruckus game wins 6-0.
This might be.
We're gonna blow them out. 24.
You guys are going to blow them out?
34 nothing.
Who are you doing?
We'll see.
You're just making up numbers now.
The 34-0 Ross, really?
He's. Ignore what he's saying.
The only team we ever scored 34 points against was.
Yeah, you guys got to prove me wrong,
Yeah.
Ross. If you guys don't prove me wrong Sunday, then I'm just going to laugh at you next
Fair
week
enough.
on Blunt Talk.
Fair enough.
But I just feel like Ruckus is the better of the two teams. And so my pick is Ruckus. Anybody else who has any other opinion on the basketball, feel free to chime in. However, I actually will cut this off for now. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Blunt Talk. We're going to be here 10 a.m. Sunday. We're going to try to get the live stream going out for you. For the first game, it's going to be Ruckus taking on the Railroaders, followed by Ruckus Warriors and Warriors Railroaders. I'm Joey Blaze. You have a wonderful night, and we'll see you Sunday morning.
So you.